All right, welcome back to another episode of Chip Theory. We are discussing today another Lydian mode, starting on E flat. Here we have E flat as our keynote for today's Lydian scale. E flat Lydian mode, and the modal key and chords of E flat Lydian. Again, Lydian is the fourth mode of the major scale, and it has the pattern of a whole step, a half step, a whole step, a whole step, and a half step. So we have three whole steps, and then a half step, and then two whole steps, and then a half step for its Lydian modal pattern. It's important to realize as well that the Lydian modal pattern is inverse with the Locrian pattern. So if we can say our Lydian pattern going up or ascending, whole, half, we also know our Locrian pattern because the Locrian pattern is simply the inverse of the Lydian pattern. So we know half, whole is a Locrian ascending, and vice versa. If we can say the Locrian pattern going down or descending, we know our Lydian pattern, whole, half. It's important to realize this pattern when we're talking about our Lydian mode. That's the first thing I want to realize when talking about the scale. The second thing we want to realize is the key of which our E flat Lydian mode will be derived from. And the way we figure that is we need to know what note E flat is from the relative major scale, or that it is the fourth degree of. So we know that a fourth is 5 half steps to reach the fourth of the scale, of the major scale. So we're going to count down 5 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here we have a B flat note. You can see B flat is on the third chip of the group of 3. And that is going to be our relative major key for E flat Lydian. So we know that we're going to have two flats in our key signature, B flat and E flat from the relative major scale, B flat major. Again, since this is 5 half steps down, we know it's 7 from the other direction, given that there are 12 half steps in an octave. And we know that in Lydian, our relative major note, the B flat, will land on the 5th degree of our E flat Lydian scale. So we could simply play the B flat scale starting on E flat and achieve our Lydian mode that way, or we can use the pattern for the Lydian pattern to achieve the notes of our E flat Lydian mode. So here we're going to use our pattern of a whole step here, E flat to F, another whole step, F to G, a whole step, G to A. Here's our half step, A to B flat. Now B flat is our relative major. A whole step here to C, a whole step to D, and then again our final half step is going to be from D back to E flat. And that gives you the notes of our E flat Lydian mode. If we remove the chips that are not in our Lydian mode, we can see again the pattern was a whole step, a whole step, a whole step, a half step, a whole, and a half. Again, if we look at the pattern descending, we have our Locrian pattern, half, whole, half, whole. Now, the Locrian notes are not going to be the same because this is our Lydian pattern descending, but the pattern is there. If we were to start down here and say that pattern ascending, it would be the Locrian mode. So here, our Lydian mode, it leaves us with the note E flat, F, G, A natural, B flat, C, and D. Now here it's easy enough to see we're starting on E flat, F, G, and A, and here's our A. And normally, if we compare our Lydian scale to the E flat major or Ionian mode, we're looking at a scale that has a raised fourth degree. Now, Lydian as a mode is known to have that sharp 4 degree. So here we have, normally there would be an A flat, and it's raised now to A natural. Again, here is our relative major, the B flat, which you can see are two flats from B flat major scale, B flat and E flat. And if we move our B flat down here to its relative major position, or the major scale, we have the B flat major mode here. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, and A. And we're going to number these scale degrees. So B flat would be 1, C is 2, D is 3, E flat is 4, F would be 5, G would be 6, and A would be 7. And these scale degree numbers you should do for all of your major scale modes. An Ionian mode is, I recommend numbering your scale degrees so that when you move these back to your Lydian position, we're starting here on the 4th degree, it's easy to tell we have 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3. The root being our relative major key, or B flat. So 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3. And after realizing that, we can determine the triads of our E flat Lydian scale. Again, we have a sharp 4 here with the A. From the triads, from alternating scale tones of our scale here, starting on the E flat. So we have simply the 4, 6 root scale degrees from a relative major, 4, 6 root, E flat, G, B flat, which is a major triad on the first triad of E flat Lydian. E flat, G, B flat. Our second degree is going to be 5, 7, 2, FAC, which is major. And the third triad of Lydian is the 6 root 3 minor triad. Again, these scale degrees correspond with their qualities, so 6 root 3 is always going to be minor. And it is G, B flat, D in this case. Here our sharp 4 chord begins on the A or the 7 scale degree of B flat, 7, 2, 4, and any note, any chord beginning on the 7th scale degree is diminished. 7, 2, 4 is diminished. A, C, and E flat. For our 5 chord, we have the root 3rd, 5th of our relative major. This is our relative major, root 3rd, 5th, B flat, D, and F, which is major here on the 5th position. Our 6th chord is going to be 2, 4, 6, C, E flat, G, which is minor. Our 7th chord, or triad, is the 3, 5, 7 minor chord, D, F, and A. And that gives you the triads of our E flat Lydian mode, which the qualities were, again, a major, minor, a sharp 4 diminished, 5 major, a minor 6, and a minor 7. Again, we can do the same thing now for 7th chords by adding the extension of a 4th note atop the triads we just made, which is an extra scale degree. On the 1st chord, it's going to be 4, 6, root 3, E flat, G, B flat, and D, which spells our major 7 chord. 4, 6, root 3 is a major 7 chord based on the notes of our relative major scale degrees. It's a 4-3-4 spacing with a 2+1 in the middle here. 2+1 is going to be our minor third scale degree. So 2+1 equals 3. So there are 3 half steps here between G and B flat. And it's a 2+1. So G here to A is 2 half steps. And A to B flat is 1 half step. So we're calling this interval, these two notes correspond here to this interval, like this. Right? G to B flat is a 2+1 because of the scale. 2+1 is right here. And it was always on the 4/6 root third chord that will occur in every key. The minor third is a 2+1 on the 4/6 root 3 chord. So if you can remember those scale degrees, you know how that minor third is structured. Our second position chord is a 5-7-2-4 dominant 7. Again, a 5-7-2-4 is always dominant in every key. Here it's on the second position of our Lydian mode. F, A, C, and E flat. Again, we have C to E flat is our minor third atop a major 4-3 triad, F, A, C. And of course, A to C is going to have a 1+2 interval. And C to E flat is a 2+1. And of course, those scale degrees will always have that pattern in every key. The 5-7-2-4 is dominant, a 4-3-3. In this case, it's the F, A, C, E flat dominant 7. Our third chord is the 6 root 3-5, which is minor, G, B flat, D, and F. G, B flat, D, F is a minor 7 chord, or 6 root 3-5 minor 7. It's a 3-4-3 spacing, and what's special about the 6 root 3-5 is that we have a 2+1 on the bottom and a 1+2 on the top. So this has one of either of the minor thirds. Again, our dominant 7 does as well, but it starts with a 1+2 in the center and a 2+1 on top. Here we have the 2+1 on the bottom and a 1+2 on the top. So you can see how they're kind of switched. It's this, the 6 chord, the 6 root 3-5 7th chord mixes up the formula a little bit and has the 2+1 and a 1+2. Our sharp 4 chord here was our 7-2-4-6. Again, those scale degrees equal a half diminished chord when you add the 6 atop the diminished triad. Here it's A, C, E flat, and the 6 of B flat is G, which is a major third. E flat to G is a major third atop the diminished triad, A, C, E flat, or a minor 7 flat 5. So we have an A half diminished, or an A minor 7 with a flat 5, E flat. Again, half diminished in this position, we'll have a 1+2 here and a 2+1 here. And it's a 3-3-4 interval spacing. Here on the 4th position of Lydian. Again, your sharp 4 of all your Lydian keys is going to be that half diminished 7 chord. The 5th position is your relative major, root 3-5-7 of B flat, D, F, and A. It's a 4-3-4 spacing. And the difference between this major 7 and the major 7 in the 1st position of Lydian is that the 5 chord is going to have the 1+2, this being the relative 1 chord of your relative major, here in the 5th position of Lydian. Again, these qualities are all position dependent, so in Lydian, it's going to be here, your dominant is here, your half diminished is here. Here's the 6th chord, is going to be a 2-4-6 root, C, E flat, G, and B flat. We have a 3-4-3 spacing. Again, this is the 2-4-6 root minor 7. And it's going to have 2+1 here and a 2+1 here, like the 2 chord of your relative major. C, E flat, G, B flat. The 7 chord is the 3-5-7-2 minor 7th chord. This is going to be D, F, A, and C. This particular minor 7 chord, although it has the same quality as this one, it's going to have 1+2s on its minor third interval, on both of them. So those are your chords of the E-flat Lydian mode. And across the bottom we have the 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2, 3 scale degrees. On our second row, if we look at the thirds of all of our diatonic chords of the mode, we have the 6, 7 root 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees of our relative major. Again, in this case, B flat major, and that gives you an Aeolian pattern, which is a whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole along the thirds of your key. Along the fifths, you have the Ionian mode, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, E flat, F, G, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A across your fifths. And across your seventh mode, you have a Phrygian pattern, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, starting on the D note. So that's just another detail that these are also modes as well going across here and with their respective patterns. We can talk about the inversions of these chords now, assuming those scale degrees don't change. They may be in different positions or voiced differently depending on whatever music you're looking at playing. But if we know our scale degrees, we can hopefully spot those. And not to confuse anyone, I'm going to mainly focus on the interval qualities of the chords themselves and their inversions. So here we had on the 1 position a major 7, 4-3-4 spacing, E flat, G, B flat, D. And I'm going to invert this, move the E flat to the top, and we're going to have now a 3-4-1 major 7 in first inversion, starting with the 6th degree, or the G, B flat, D, E flat. Here we have a 4-1-4 spacing, 4-1-4, starting on B flat, D, E flat, G, to our 1-4-3 spacing, a third inversion for a major 7, starting on D, E flat, G, and B flat. Coming down is B flat, G, E flat, D, G, E flat, D, B flat, E flat, D, B flat, G, and D, B flat, G, E flat, for our 1 chord of E flat Lydian. Our 2 chord was the dominant 7, F, A, C, E flat, a 4-3-3 spacing. When we invert this, we bring the F to the top, leaving our third on the bottom in a 3-3-2 position for dominant 7s. Again, this is your 7-2-4-5 position, or degrees. A 3-3-2 spacing starting on A, C, E flat, and F. The dominant 7 chord in first inversion. Here's our dominant 7 chord in second inversion, or a 3-2-4 position starting on C, E flat, F, A. And here's our 2-4-3 position starting on E flat, F, A, C. Coming down is C, A, F, E flat, A, F, E flat, C, F, E flat, C, A, and E flat, C, A, F. Again, this is our dominant 7 chord, and it stays dominant in all of its inversions. Our 3 chord was our minor 7, G, B flat, D, F. It's a 3-4-3 spacing. When we invert the G up, we have a 4-3-2 position starting on B flat. It's still a minor 7, B flat, D, F, G, and 4-3-2 inversion. We bring the third up, we have a 3-2-3 starting on D, D, F, G, and B flat. Still G minor 7. And here in third inversion, we have the 2-3-4, F, G, B flat, and D. Coming down is D, B flat, G, F, B flat, G, F, D, G, F, D, B flat, and F, D, B flat, and G. Here's our 4th chord. The 4th chord is a sharp 4 chord. This was our A half diminished, A, C, E flat, G. Again, this is a 3-3-4 spacing, A, C, E flat, G. When we invert our half diminished chord, bring the A to the top, it gives us a 3-4-2 spacing, C, E flat, G, A. 3-4-2, half diminished. When we invert it again, we have the 4-2-3 position, E flat, G, A, and C, to our 2-3-3 position, starting on G, a root A, C, and E flat is our 5th. Coming down is E flat, C, A, G, C, A, G, E flat, A, G, E flat, C, and G, E flat, C, A for our sharp 4 chord, our half diminished 7. Our 5 chord was a relative major. It's a major 7, B flat, D, F, A, a 4-3-4 spacing. When we invert our B flat, we have a 3-4-1 starting on D, D, F, A, B flat, or 4-1-4 starting on F, F, A, B flat, D, or 1-4-3 starting on A, B flat, D, F. Coming down is F, D, B flat, A, D, B flat, A, F, B flat, A, F, D, and A, F, D, B flat. Again, this is the relative major chord. We have the 6th chord is a minor chord, C, E flat, G, B flat, a 3-4-3 spacing. When we invert it, we have 4-3-2 starting on E flat, G, B flat, C. Here we have a 3-2-3 starting on G, B flat, C, E flat. Or 2-3-4 spacing starting on B flat, C, E flat, and G. Coming down is G, E flat, C, B flat, E flat, C, B flat, G, C, B flat, G, E flat, and B flat, G, E flat, C. Here in our 7th chord, we had the D minor 7, D, F, A, C, a 3-4-3 spacing. Again, D is our 3rd note of the relative major, B flat, D, F, A, C. When we invert it, we have a 4-3-2 starting on F, F, A, C, D, do a 3-2-3 starting on A, C, D, F, to our 2-3-4 starting on C, C, D, F, A. Again, it's still D minor 7, A, F, D, C, F, D, C, A, D, C, A, F, and C, A, F, D. Those are going to be your chords of E flat Lydian. Here we have the sharp 4 as an A flat, sharp to A natural, giving us an A half diminished. And we had a B flat major 7, a C dominant, D minor 7, wait a minute, E flat major 7, F dominant, G minor 7, A minor 7 flat 5, a B flat major 7, C minor 7, and a D minor 7. And those are your chords of E flat Lydian.